Okay, let's dive right into this explainer, because today we're uncovering one of the most baffling, honestly counterintuitive secrets of the retail world. I couldn't believe this when I first read it, but there is an actual system in place that rewards companies for destroying perfectly good products, literally shredding them. But stick with me, because we're also going to look at how a massive new law taking effect in just 8 days is about to change the entire game. To really grasp the sheer mind-boggling scale of the problem we're dealing with, I want you to think about the number 130,000. That is the amount of brand new items an investigation found marked with the word destroy in a single Amazon UK warehouse. And that was over just 1 week. We're talking tens of thousands of unused products, laptops, smart TVs, books, unopened face masks, just heading straight for the landfill or the shredder. One warehouse, 1 week. It's wild. But this isn't just an e-commerce tech problem, right? It's hiding in plain sight in the fashion world too. Imagine taking a walk, going down an alley, and stumbling upon 16 bags of high-end clothing. Sounds like a jackpot, except when you look closer, the labels are all ripped out, and the fabric is slashed straight through the middle to make absolutely sure no one could ever wear them. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around, isn't it? Like, why on earth would a company pay to shred its own valuable inventory instead of, just donating it? Well, to understand why this happens, we have to look at the academic side of things. There's this fascinating thesis from London University that perfectly frames the crisis. They accurately call our current system the take, make, destroy model. It's basically the most extreme expression of our linear economy. So resources are extracted, goods are manufactured, and then, instead of actually being consumed, they are intentionally destroyed. It yields absolutely zero private or societal utility, none, all while still generating massive environmental harm during production and disposal. So the crucial point here is that this waste doesn't just happen by accident. According to the research, it's driven by two very distinct forces. First, we've got the upstream factors. Think of these as the root causes. Retailer business models that are completely focused on rapid churn, producing way too much stuff, and basically training us, the consumers, to expect constant new arrivals. Then you have the downstream factors. And oh boy, this is where things get truly twisted. Thanks to profit margins and brand integrity concerns, a company will literally find it more appealing to physically destroy overproduced items than to discount them or give them away. Let's zoom in on those downstream factors for fashion brands for a second. Ultimately, it comes down to protecting exclusivity and avoiding discount culture like the plague. Luxury fashion is entirely built on scarcity. If consumers know they can get last season's jacket for free or at a deep discount, they're definitely going to hold off on buying it at full price. Brands are absolutely terrified of their goods ending up on unauthorized gray market resale platforms. They would literally rather burn merchandise, like Burberry, who famously did away with $37 million worth of bags, clothing, and perfume in 2018, than risk devaluing their brand image. Now, for massive e-commerce giants, the logic is a little bit different, but honestly, equally ruthless. It's all about the physical footprint. Think of it like paying expensive daily rent for a closet full of clothes you never wear. Storing pristine MacBooks, Dyson vacuums, or unsold clothing costs money every single day. If a product isn't moving, it's actually cheaper and faster to just dump it, shred it, and make room for something that will sell immediately. But here is where the economic incentives get truly, deeply twisted. I was completely blown away when I learned about this next part. Let me introduce you to a customs loophole known as duty drawback. So duty drawback is a program that exists in the US, Canada, Europe, a bunch of other places. Originally, it was a good thing, designed to encourage exports. If you import parts, pay a tariff, use those parts to build a product, and then export the finished good, the government refunds your import tariff to help you stay globally competitive. Makes sense, right? But there's a massive catch built right into the definition. Here is how it plays out in reality. If a company imports goods and sells them domestically, they eat the import taxes. Fair enough. If they export them, they can get up to 99% refunded. Great. But here is the catch I mentioned. If they import merchandise, fail to sell it, and then declare it unused or rejected and physically destroy it, they also get up to a 99% refund. No way, right? But it's true. I really want you to just sit with that for a second, because it is a glaring systemic flaw. Companies are financially rewarded by the tax code to shred perfectly good merchandise. If a brand donates those unsold clothes to a local charity, they don't get that customs refund because, well, the goods entered the domestic market. But if they hire a company to literally incinerate them, they get a giant check from the government, It's completely backwards. And you can imagine the environmental cost of this destructive loophole is just staggering. The European Commission estimates that 4 to 9% of all unsold textiles in Europe are destroyed before they are ever even worn. That generates roughly 5.6 million tons of CO2 emissions annually. To put that into perspective, that is nearly the equivalent of Sweden's total net emissions for a whole year, completely wasted on products that absolutely no one got to use. Well, thankfully, this era of unchecked waste is hitting a massive wall. Enter the European Union's Eco-Design for Sustainable Products Regulation, or ESPR for short. This has been a long-debated issue, but it's finally turning into a hard legal obligation. It's culminating in a total ban on the destruction of unsold apparel, clothing accessories, and footwear for large companies. Back in February 2026, the EU adopted a delegated act that set this entire transformation into motion. Which brings us to the ticking clock. Since today is July 11th, 2026, large fashion and footwear brands have exactly 8 days left. Just 8 days. On July 19th, this ban goes live, meaning we sent it to be shredded or we dumped it in a landfill will officially become illegal answers in the European Union. Plus, by early 2027, companies are going to face mandatory public disclosure requirements, forcing them to publish the exact volumes of what happens to all their unsold stock. No more hiding in the shadows. Now, you might be wondering, how do you actually enforce a rule like this, right? Like, how do you stop a brand from just quietly shredding a jacket and lying about it? Well, to enforce it, the EU is mandating what is essentially the ultimate corporate lie detector test: digital product passports, or DPPs. A DPP is this incredibly smart machine-readable record attached to a single item. It carries its unique composition, ownership history, and lifecycle data. Basically, it creates an undeniable paper trail to prove to national authorities that an item was not destroyed. So instead of a secret trip to the incinerator, garments will now have a completely transparent life cycle. Using a simple QR code, like the GS1 digital links provided by platforms such as SmartLinks, you literally just scan the item, instantly view its precise data, and route it to safety. Whether it goes to resale, repair, or maybe a certified recycler who needs to know exactly what kind of fibers the garment is made of, the data itself dictates its second life. And here's the silver lining. The smartest companies out there aren't looking at this July 19th deadline as a penalty. They're actually looking at it as a massive commercial upside. They are completely redesigning their end-of-season economics. Every garment saved from the shredder, it's not a liability anymore. It's inventory. It can be sold again through brand-owned resale channels, ensuring authenticity. Or they can finally donate the items safely, using that digital passport to provide documented provenance so the goods don't just end up being abused on the gray market. It's a real win-win. So I leave you with this final thought to ponder as that July 19th deadline arrives next week. Will this combination of strict regulation and scannable passport technology finally end the take, make, destroy era for good? Or will the intensely profit-driven fashion industry just invent a new, clever loophole to protect their exclusivity? Definitely keep your eyes on the apparel world over the coming months, because the way we value our resources is about to be put to the ultimate test.